at Canyon Motorcycles. Now my buddy Adrian, I'm gonna get some new tyres on my Scrambler.
Let's leave the Ducati. Why don't you take the Canyon Special out?
The cock and ball, and they've got a king size breakfast. In the Malibu Hills, we're a couple of months after the fires ripped through here, causing absolute devastation. Private collector's showroom here. Steve McQueen Triumph. This is Bruce Brown's husband. A 1913 Harley Davidson board tracker. Brad Baker's championship winning Harley. I'm like a kid in a sweet shop. For this adventure, I keep it local, as I watched motorbikes, talked motorbikes, looked at loads of motorbikes, and then met up with some biking buddies to go ride some. But before I got rolling, I tuned into my favourite motorsport race and yelled at the TV, while the best riders in the world battled it out on the final lap of the first MotoGP race of the season. Oh my gosh, this is the first race, MotoGP. Hammer and Tong, Dovizioso, Marquez, Crutchlow, Rins, Rossi. Come on! And after this, I'm going to grab my helmet, jump on my bike, and go for a ride with the buddy. Crutchlow's close, Rins is close, Rossi's right there. No one can make a mistake. Here comes Marquez, he'll have a dabble. Woo! Oh my gosh, he's gone wide. Oh my gosh, here they go. Woo! It's Dobby. Dobby's gonna win it. Marquez second. Crutchlow third. Wow! I love it. It is the best motorsport show in the world for sure. So we got Dobby, Marquez, Crutchlow, Rins, Rossi, Petrucci, Vinales, Juan Mir, rookie, Nakagami, Espargaro, Morbidelli, another rookie. Incredibly, the top 15 riders all finished within 15 seconds of the winner, making it another history-making race and setting it up to be another thrilling and nail-biting season. It's time to get my helmet on, get my jacket, take the tarp off. It's been outside, it's my Ducati. Outside, I know. So here I have my Ducati Scrambler. It's much loved, despite what you might think. Now, like every bike that's been parked up for the winter, it needs a little bit of maintenance. I've had these tyres on way too long, so I need a fresh set of tyres. Probably like to do an oil change and just check over a few bits and pieces. But first job, let's start her up. That went well, so I'm going to grab my helmet, grab some new tyres and take them up to my buddy's place. Let's get on the road. Alrighty. So we're here at Canyon Motorcycles. Now my buddy Adrian, well, he is a Brit, he's got more of an accent than I have. So anyway, I've come over to Adrian's place. It's always good to know someone who knows how to work on motorcycles, knows a thing or two about everything, and this is my local guy. I'm gonna get some new tyres on my Scrambler, but Adrian at TT Motorcycles does so much more than that. You've got custom builds, custom wheels.
We do it all. We've got about everything.
You've got some new bikes here. What's this one?
Yeah, this is one of the latest projects. This is one of the new Triumph bobbers which we've taken on and done a little bit of a custom job on it. We've kind of built it for the shows this year.
It's clean.
It's very clean, yeah. We've hardly used it. But today we can use it a little bit. This one's what I really dialed in. This is my own bike, which I've had for a long time. It was actually the bike which when I bought it many years ago, nobody actually had built custom wheels for Triumph. So this was the R&D bike, what we did for everything. So it has all the motor built on it. It's got the 904 piston kit in it, cams. So with this bike, we designed our own hubs and our own offset cush drive system and chain. You know, one-off custom wheels. If you want nice wheels, That's what we do.
People don't realise as well that but there's some extra strength in like spoked wheels.
Very. 30% lighter than the stock.
And if you do ding them, you can usually get them straightened out.
I mean, these are the stock wheels. Feel the weight of that. House brick.
Jeez.
You can fit the rubber what you want. You know, we pick the tyres out, we build the wheels to fit. We do them custom for, you know, all Triumph, Indian and Harley Davidson.
Hey, let's go for breakfast. I am starving. I've been watching MotoGP getting super excited.
You need an English breakfast then, don't you, mate? Full fry. Bacon, egg, sausage.
There's no leaving England with this man, right? So being a Brit myself, every time he sends me photographs of like full English breakfast or teas and biscuits and all kinds of stuff. It's all the stuff that's like proper British, so take me somewhere British, man.
There's only one place in LA where you can get black pudding on your breakfast, mate, so that's the Cock and Bull. Go look at the Cock and Bull.
Look at that for a name, Cock and Bull.
Let's leave the Ducati, and I tell you what, why don't you take the Canyon Special out?
Now with one bike off the bench, my scrambler went on. And just in case that rear tyre had any life left in it, Adrian made sure it was truly smoked.
Definitely worn out now.
It's been well ridden.
Got plenty of life in it, yeah.
Oh yeah, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Loads of life. He just needs a fresh set of tyres and
nothing wrong with that.
chain's fairly new, engine's good, I know engine's good.
Maybe do a nice set of TT rules for it. Have a think, yeah.
Did you hear that? I'm going to hold him to that. Spoked wheels to my scrambler.
Maybe.
Yeah, cool. Right, let's get this one off the bench. I can't wait to ride it.
Our ride to breakfast on a couple of custom Triumphs will be on the scenic Topanga Canyon Boulevard. A perfect road to get to know my Café racer and also see and hear Adrian's badass bobber. After the turns of the canyon, it was then a short trip down the coastline. And it was a gorgeous day to be out riding, so we just cruised down PCH and enjoyed the ride. As we now rode towards Santa Monica and a British pub that serves up a mighty full English breakfast.
British pub in celebration of Triumph coming back to MotoGP. Actually today was their first race in Moto2. We're here riding a Triumph, we're at a British pub, we're about to have some British food. Let's get in there.
Walking into the Cock and Bull in Santa Monica was like walking into any typical English pub. And I just couldn't wait to look at that menu.
The Cock and Bull Sunday morning, and they've got a king-size breakfast. English sausage, Irish bacon, mushrooms, black pudding, Heinz beans, tomatoes, 2 eggs and some toast. I'm in.
So while we waited for that breakfast to cook, it was then time for a spot of darts. Oh boy, it was great to be tucking into some familiar flavours and starting the day a traditional English way. After we cleaned our plates, it was then onto the pool table. and where we placed a friendly bet, in which the loser would pay for breakfast. So Adrian went first and amazingly potted 2 balls off the break. Oh boy, now I was in trouble, especially when it was finally my turn and I missed hitting a ball that was right in front of me. But as the game slowly progressed, I somehow made some sort of a comeback and everything rested on the black. And Adrian had first crack at it. Oh, what a miss! But with a black now awkwardly placed, I decided on luck and just whacked it. Oh, with the white going in after the black, I lost the game. And now breakfast was on me. Bloody typical. Right, let's go now have some real fun, as we now made our way out of this built up area, topped up our tanks, and then headed away from the ocean. One of my favourite canyons to ride is Latigo Canyon, as the road just snakes its way up the hillside and the corners seem to be endless. While this is a great road to ride and the vegetation around me was coming back to life, this canyon had recently been hit by one of LA's largest wildfires, and where many homes and buildings were destroyed. So we're up here in the Malibu Hills. We're a couple of months after the fires ripped through here, causing absolute devastation. Then after the fires, it was the floods. The hills are now beautiful and green, but what are left are the charred remains. Can you believe that stuff like this has happened? This is all the way up through Malibu, devastation everywhere. Sad to see. Everywhere we looked, there were charred remains of homes, vehicles and personal belongings, now all burnt to the ground and totally destroyed. Amongst all the burnt homes, others somehow stood and remained untouched, and even some had started new construction. The Woolsey fire eventually destroyed 1,500 structures and 97,000 acres before it was contained, and it became the most destructive to sweep through the Los Angeles County. On our way back down the canyon, Adrian and I discussed on our intercom what an incredible job the firefighters did in those very extreme situations, saving many people, homes, and even the famous motorcycle hangout The Rock Store, as they heroically battled the blaze. So if you can, I ask for all motorcyclists, especially those who enjoy riding in the Malibu Canyon, to please donate to the Woolsey Fire Foundations and help this incredible canyon, its residents and the community, rebuild and flourish once again. Now back on the coastline, we would end our day looking out at the ocean and watching the sun come down as the sea mist rolled in. And thanks Adrian for a fun ride out. This fine custom Triumph Thruxton is a beauty, not only to look at, but also to ride. The next morning I would take a short ride on the Café racer across to Simi Valley, and it would be here I'd meet up with Barry Wise, who had rode across LA with a friend on a couple of his old British motorcycles. Now it would be here that Barry would introduce me to Mark, who just happens to have a rather special collection of vintage motorcycle memorabilia, and more importantly, motorcycles. Private collector's showroom here, amazing bikes. I mean, there's everything here. Some of the very first Harley Davidson motorcycles right through to race winning stuff. There's a Steve McQueen Triumph over there. Oh my gosh, I'm like a kid in a sweet shop. As number plates from pro racers donned some of the walls, others were covered in photos capturing history-making moments, or even event posters, and even gear. While the floor was just littered with motorcycles that just made my jaw drop. So we have a very special motorcycle here, but I'm not going to tell you about it. I'm going to leave it to Mark. So Mark, please tell me all about this one.
On this one, Jamie, it's a 67 Husqvarna Commando. It was for Steve McQueen. The paperwork shows that it was formed to ride the Polish ISTT. But what makes this one rare is that it's the only Husqvarna I know of, and the first one that was registered to him personally.
This is Bruce Brown's Husqvarna. If you don't know who Bruce Brown is, check out On Any Sunday. There were loads of early motocross machines, as well as old Hare and Hound desert race bikes, each with a story behind them and a reason to be in this private collection. And Mark's love for flat track machines was evident. This is like a prototype, and it's front suspension on the back. Different championship winning flat trackers. This is Brad Baker's championship winning Harley. It's an XR750. It's nothing but brutal engine. So this is built really just to go left as fast as possible. A huge engine. You've got the control here, rear brake and gear lever on the right, and the left foot peg is literally tucked right back here. You're not going to do much with it. You just straight into a left-hand bend. This thing's haul. This is amazing. It's minimal. It's just made for one purpose. Go left, very fast. This is a very famous motorcycle. The guy won the world championship on this motorcycle and then got robbed of the championship due to some Russians protesting that he jumped the gate. The story here tells you of quite a traumatic race meeting where literally he was doing so well that his teammates got involved trying to knock him off the track. It was kind of quite crazy, but anyway, this motorcycle, really one of a kind, super famous.
They did. They just took a couple of fins and just banged them out of there, it looks like.
I'm sure that those got broken off in the motocross races, like
something,
stones and stuff. It was fascinating to see so many race-winning machines, but I also love seeing the original crash helmets, all showing battle scars and evidence of hard and close racing. While Barry and I excitedly roamed around all the bikes, I just couldn't help but notice the war motorcycle with skis. And it also had an extensive tool and repair kit that was all neatly packed together on the gas tank. There's some beautiful machines here. Look at this. This is like a Scottish 6-day trial enduro CZ. We've got an early speedway bike. These things are gorgeous.
Yeah, these are all early, as you can see, because they're upright. The later model, as you know, speedway bikes.
The engine was
They're a lot different, obviously, but the frame geometry and whatnot is essentially.
The front suspension is just a rubber band.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
This is a 74 MZ and it's still in the crate. Never been ridden. Has an enclosed chain.
There it goes. Yeah. Oh, God.
So much smoke coming out of that.
Look at these other ones are all perfect. I didn't even know they came in baby blue.
And then onto the motorcycles that are now over 100 years old. Wow, now these machines really did create a movement that we still ride on today. Amazing to see, and just imagine riding one of these old beauties. This is a 1913 Harley-Davidson board tracker. Look at the size of the handlebars. Controls on both as well. Back in the day, these were like a dead loss oil system, so the oil literally used to make its way through the engine and just drip out the bottom. And that was just the way it was. You just kept topping up. Pedals here just used usually to start the bike and kind of get going before you engage gear. Belt driven mainly, but the chain here just to get the engine going and get your momentum going. Or get you home if you run out of gas. And if all that wasn't enough, there were trophies, wine, and a room with loads of motorcycle newspapers and photos. It really was like stepping back in time.
Hammer was 16. Yeah, that's Hammer.
That's Hammer, Dick Hammer.
That's Hammer.
That was his name. Look at the tire. I mean, he rode in on the rim.
What an incredible collection of amazing motorcycles and parts of history. I could spend days looking at stuff in there. Thank you, Mark, for showing us around. But now as I said goodbye to Barry and his buddy, it was now time to stop looking at bikes and start riding one. Time now to head to the hills and take this machine around a few corners and let that oversized engine really sing. Oh, this machine just loves turns, and that exhaust sound is music to my ears. It's been a fun couple of days. Loads of motorcycles, some good grub, and fun times with friends. Thumbs up to that. Now it's your turn. Gear up, get on your machine, and just go for a ride.
Including our new leather strap-ons.
Oh yeah, a strap on.
Later on.
Before breakfast, after breakfast.